Okay, so I'm going to do a quick overview of what we're learning about with the Tainos and the Spanish colonizers. So first, let's take a look at the map. Okay, so I'm going to wiggle this right here. So Haiti and the Dominican Republic today is right around where I'm wiggling this. Remember, it was south of Cuba. So this island was empty. There was no people on it, and they believed that the Tainos came from the mainland, so they came from somewhere over here. So they were like, you know what? It's too crowded over here. I've been going out on my boat, and I found some land. Let's get all of our friends, and let's go and live on this island. There's no people there. So imagine if you guys found out that there was land that nobody knew about, and you were old enough to go on your own, and you said, come on guys, we can really do this, we can make it work. And how are we gonna eat? We'll just grow, and there's fruits on the islands we can eat. It's beautiful, it's in the Caribbean, so there's no winter there. We don't have to survive cold winters. Let's just go over there. Nobody can boss us around. We'll be our own everything. So they got in the boats and they traveled over here and they started to have a settlement. And they started to have kids, and the settlement got bigger, and maybe a few more people came over. And so they had a real community, and they had to figure out how to feed everyone and how to keep their culture alive. And they would have ceremonies, people would get married in a certain way, and they had their own way of living, and they loved it. Sure, they had problems. You know, people, they aggravate each other, and sometimes somebody did things that weren't right, and they would have to deal with those, but they dealt with it as a community. Okay, so let's look at some of their pictures. So they were really great at fishing. They had amazing skills for getting the fish and being able to cook it. And you can see down over here, there's a mom with a baby. So everyone was involved. It was very community-based. And then here's another picture of kind of the houses that they set up. So they set up a beautiful place. They loved being there. And okay, so that's one group right here. Okay, now we have to go across the ocean way over here to Spain. So this is where Columbus comes from. So Columbus is this guy who loves being out on his boat, right? Wants to just explore, but he doesn't have his own boat, and he doesn't have enough money to get his own boat, but he wants to be like really important. He wants to have a family and have lots of money, so he wants to really go exploring. He knows he's good at being out on the ship. So he goes in front of the king and queen, which I believe I have a picture of here. And he says, hey, listen, I'm a really good captain of the ship. I can have, if you give me 3 ships, we can go out, and I know there's more land to be had, and I can find more land. And you know how we're running out of gold, and you want more money, and you want riches, and you, Spain, want to be stronger than all the other European countries. Like, you want to be better than France and all of that. So if you give me these ships, I'll go out and I'll find you riches, and I'll bring it back, and you'll be so happy. So they trusted him, the king and the queen. They said, all right, we're going to give you 3 ships, and you go out in the oceans, because we're certainly not going to go, and tell me what you find. So let's go back to the map. So here he is in Spain, and he has no idea. He's just going out exploring. No one knows where anything is, but he's following the current, and he's good in the ocean. So he goes, and the first place he lands is Hispaniola. So he lands here. And what does he see with this beautiful island, the Caribbean, and it's just gorgeous. And remember, one of the ships ran aground, so he's like, oh man, we can't fit all you people that were on that 3rd boat in our boat. You're out. You're gonna have to stay here. Take the wood from the boat that's not working and build your house, little houses on this island, and we'll come back and we'll get you after I drop off some guys back in Spain. Now, these trips take like months, so they're not short trips. So as you know, he left a group of 39 people there, and when he came back, they were dead. And it looked like their forts had been burned down. So we're going to see what happens with that. So these are the groups that all play the role. So you are going to hear the word colonizer or colony. So what that is Columbus goes back to Spain. He's like, oh my God, you won't believe what I found. I have a picture here. So this is later on, but he brings some Tainos back with him, and he says, oh, look at these fruits. You've never seen fruits like this. And they probably haven't. Oh, taste them. They're so delicious. And this land is so great. And the queen's like, oh, you did it, Columbus. You did it. You found all this stuff. Thank you. So she rewards him, and she says, okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to set up a colony. He says, what do you mean a colony? She said, we're going to bring a bunch of people over there, and you're going to collect all the goods. I want the gold, I want the fruit, and I want it all back here. So you go back to do that. And maybe you can start growing more food. And he said, you want me to work out in the farm? She said, oh, no. You can use those Indians, those indigenous people. They are just barbaric. They're not real humans. They're just like animals living in the woods. And you can use them, and they will do all the work for you. You use them as slaves. And you make lots of stuff, and then we'll sell it to the other countries, and we'll get so rich. So they did. They went back to the island. And they felt, which you'll read about, that they had a right to the labor of these people. So they didn't acknowledge the whole cool community they had there, the whole government structure, the whole social things. They just came in and they were able to take over. And why were they able to take over? They're both, look at how strong both groups are, right? This guy looks a little old, but both groups were strong. So why were they able to? And you'll see what this guy is holding right here is guns. They were lethal, and they could take it out. So they had more power that way. And another thing you will learn is that these two cultures are coming together. And when new cultures, new strains of bacteria and disease come in, and the group from Europe brought a whole bunch of new diseases. And these diseases are going to affect the Tainos because their bodies aren't used to it. And it's going to kill, these diseases are going to kill a lot of the Tainos. So that's a little background with the map showing you and teaching you what a colony is. So a colony is, Spain is the boss in all of Spain, but now they claim this land, and even though it's not in Spain, they say, we're still the boss of this land. This is our colony, and everything that's on it, the people, the goods, it's ours. We claim it. It's ours. It's our colony. And that's what all of these countries started to do too. We know Europe did it and France did it. So these are all the countries that started different colonies in this new land and felt they had a right to everything it had and the people in it.